Business Morning. Joining me now in the studio is Badia Jidan, a currency analyst, and we are looking at the Naira's performance in the first half of this year. Of course, we'll be looking at the Naira's performance against other currencies, and of course tied to our main export commodity, talking about oil. Now, Badia, thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And just give us an overview. Of course, you have done your analysis, Naira, in the first half and also particularly the second quarter of this year. Now, what were your findings?
Yeah, basically for about 6 months now, we have seen that overall the dollar has gained strength, obviously, above the Naira. Okay, the Naira has depreciated in a sense, though the Naira has been trying to pick up in recent weeks. And all of this is particularly a function of what is happening in the economy, because a stronger economy will reflect a stronger currency. Okay, if the economy is not performing well as it should and economic policies are not implemented as they should, we are talking about the monetary and fiscal policies, and you are checking our earnings, the foreign reserves, I know that if they are not working as they should, obviously the Naira will be depreciating in the currency market. And I was having a discussion with my friend over the week, and we discussed. He said, okay, what are you going to be doing to the Naira? I said, if we happen to have the Naira dollar in the electronic currency market, he said it's going to forever remain short on the Naira. And I asked why. He said, because obviously, if you look at the trend of the market, if you look at the trend of Naira to dollar in the last 1 year or 2 years, you see that, in fact, in 3, 4, 5 years, you see that this trend has been up. That is, the dollar has been appreciated far above the Naira. So if you look at the past 1 month, 1 year, which you're having on your screen right now, from September up to July, you see that the Naira...
That's September 2011.
Yeah, September 2011 to June 2012, you see that the curve, though there has been a lot of fluctuation, the Naira has been struggling, but obviously the dollar has appreciated far above the Naira. And evidently in the first quarter, you see that the Naira was trying to gain some form of strength because of the activities.
Between March and May, that's where we can see the graph coming down there. Okay.
Yeah, the Naira was trying to gain strength due to the activities of our central bank. They have been trying with the policies, trying to restrict the cash flow of Naira to the public, the function of exchange, and the selling of dollars just to support the Naira. Okay, and in the second quarter, which is from that's April down to June, we've seen that the chart has been going up for the Naira, now for the dollars. Now, it's if you look at what happened in the early quarter of this year, that's the oil. You see, there was a drop in demand of oil, and that's because of what's happening nationwide, globally. That is, the oil price dropping. I mean, the demand from US, major supply, China.
The tensions in the Middle East.
So the tension in the Middle East, and not just that. Looking at what's even happening. Remember, in the first month, I think January or February, we had the first subsidy.
Okay, we had that partial removal of few
subsidies. So all of these were responsible for the Naira depreciation. That's in the first quarter of this year. Okay, and though there has been some struggle through the activities of the Ministry of Finance and the CBN to see that they bring the Naira back into shape. So this is what I've been seeing in these months, in this period.
Now, looking at the Naira dollar, the currencies pair, the trading, also looking at the recent measures taken by the CBN to help support the Naira. The CBN has done quite a lot in the last couple of months. Many of them have been short-lived. When we see the CBN introducing one particular policy to support the Naira, it just lasts for about a couple of weeks, and we see demand surging again for the greenback, and then the Naira gets back, goes back to square one. But
what we have observed over time, because in the currencies market, we normally say that history repeats itself, and that's the same that we're having with the Naira. You see the dollar takes 3 steps forward and Naira takes 1 step backward, and Naira takes another 3 steps forward and Naira takes 1 step backward. It's because we have not dealt with the major issues in the economy. Infrastructure is far still the infrastructure is bad. Capital projects are on hold.
I think basically we still remain a major import.
We are dependent on exports. That is, things that are coming out from other countries. 80% of our food and majority of the things that we are doing. So you cannot be selling your Naira and expect the Naira to be weak. Okay, and I expect your naira to be strong because we are always selling our naira. And so we want a situation whereby we can increase the level of import, and thereby, as we are doing this, we are selling our dollars. You know, when you sell the dollars, obviously you are buying the naira, so it's giving strength to the naira. So it's a structure of the framework that has been given by the CBN and the Ministry of Finance. And looking at the early quarter of this year, we see a drop in the growth rate, that's the GDP, compared to last year.
Okay, but so before we go into the GDP, I think it's important that we see just how much the effect of the CBN's policies is actually having on the naira. Now, I'm looking at just to bring this to your attention, data from the Financial Market Dealers Association. Well, according to them, how much what the CBN sold at its official window in July actually fell about 21% from around the 2.7 billion to around 2.1 billion naira in July, compared to 2.7 billion in what is sold in June. And we said the CBN offered 2.2 billion but only sold 2.1. So it may not be significant, but I think, don't you think that perhaps it's still something that perhaps traders can also look at and say, okay, fine, perhaps some of this policy, because we know that at the end of the day, it's what the policymakers do to support these currencies, not just in Nigeria, outside the country also. So perhaps the traders could look at what the policies the CBN is taking this time, that perhaps this time might sustain the naira, support it and sustain it for
the question is for how long? I don't know. I'm a currency analyst and I do a lot of currency trading. The question is, to me, at this particular point in time, because the answer to this question depends on where you are participating. For me, I want to look at where can I put my investment in terms of trading. Which currency should I be trading? Which one should I be buying and which one should I be selling as a speculator and as an analyst generally? So for me, the naira is less desirable, is less attractive for me. But we must give kudos to the governor. At least they've restricted access to the twice in a week auction that we have, we see the naira. They are trying to give a form of support to the naira. Obviously, I see this working temporarily. It cannot be long-lived. It's going to be short-lived. Maybe for the next 1-2 months again, you see the rise again. So the question is, for how long will this will this hold?
The measures hold?
Yes,
because for you, so long as the root of the problem is still there.
The root of the problem is still there.
We can do short-term measures.
We must at least we heard that Nigeria is part of the emerging economy, and on the micro level we are performing well, that our GDP is fine overall, but we are not seeing the actual result of this in the economy. Okay, and it's people continue to sell the naira. I'm sorry to say, so far we have these visible plagues in our front.
Now, you were going to look at the oil and real GDP growth rate, tying the currency to our main export product, that's crude oil.
Yeah, our main export product is crude oil, but what we are seeing now is a slow in demand. And the major economies in the world are beginning to look for alternative source of energy.